We are live. I have Rob G. Machete.
Yo.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, brother. How you been, man?
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, dude.
Been real good. Been real good, man. Staying busy for sure. Staying busy. How's everything on your end?
Everything is great, brother. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to get you on the show because I think you have a very inspiring story, from the very beginning, like how you got into DJing and how you got into your own event, your own club, which today, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's the longest running drum and bass club on the West Coast in history, correct?
We're definitely one of a few. There's about 4 nights in America that have been running just about as long as us. There's one in Seattle called D&B Tuesdays.
Cool.
But definitely the longest running show in LA for drum and bass.
Right.
And I think even as long as we've been running 20 plus years now. Probably one of the longest running clubs in LA in general. Regardless of the genre.
Right.
I don't know anyone that's been as consistent and running as long as us in LA. So yeah, man, things are going well, and the club's still going and still doing big shows, and people still loving the sounds of D&B. So that's great.
That's awesome. To kind of tell you a little bit about how, like today myself, when D&B first came out, I wasn't a big fan, even though my brother was playing it all the time. You were playing it. I wasn't like, D&B. But it's so funny today, when I go to EDC, and my girlfriend gets annoyed by it, because when I go to EDC, I go right to the bass rush. That's the first room I be at. And then she's you just, that's the room you want to go to. And I don't know what it is today. Maybe it reminds me of back in the day, when we were all kids and just my brother getting into drum and bass, you, Scuba, the whole crew. I don't know what it is, but it almost, when I hear drum and bass, I almost feel like it's home.
There's always an energy there that you can't really match. It's like, it definitely is familiar. It's definitely a vibe that feels familiar. It's like a lot of the kids now. I feel like drum and bass is still kind of the last kind of like music that touches to that underground sound. As big as EDC is now, and as big as like electronic music is in general, it's big, but it's still a small community, but it's still globally known, just like our club night, which is awesome. And it's crazy that people come from all over the world and know about Respect, and the fact that we can represent at events like EDC. Our crew played there this past summer, or in May, I should say, and yeah, man, I'm just glad to still be involved. And yeah, I agree. There's something about the vibe in that room that just really catches you, and you want to stay there because the energy is amazing.
Say it again. Oh, we're having some technical difficulties here.
You have the audio drop out?
Sit here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're back.
All right. So did you hear any of that?
Yeah, got it. Okay. Little technical difficulties on my end, but yeah, dude. So, so tell me your story, dude. How did you begin? I know you started as a DJ, but I want to know how you started Respect. What was the idea? Where did it come from? Well,
I mean, you know as well as I do. I mean, it started way back even before Respect with like people like you and your brother Oscar the Grouch. But I think I met Oscar before I met you. Because I saw him and Raul play at a backyard party. It was the first time I had heard like underground music, techno, probably some of the early kind of hardcore breakbeat styles that eventually became jungle drum and bass. And saw you out at parties promoting when I first started going out to shows in early 90s, and probably 91, 92.
Right.
And then it all just kind of grew from there. But, it was basically like a group of our friends, including Oscar at the time. And we were just like pushing jungle and drum and bass. And we had been DJs for a few years by that point. And, I think for every DJ, they just want a place that they can play regularly. You really want to hone your craft. You want to feel a sense of community. and there was really nothing else going on. There was a couple of drum and bass events that were happening weekly, but nothing that was as consistent that as we wanted or would have liked at the time. So yeah, we found out that there was a venue, opening up a slot on Tuesdays, which was called Bordner's in Hollywood. And, we got in there and just started the night, not really knowing what we were doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I ended up taking over bookings and,
wow, that's cool.
as well as, we just kind of figured it out as we went. We didn't really know what we were doing. I mean, I had been DJing for a few years, so that kind of helps. It's like you kind of build your skills and knowledge of the scene through your experience. And being a DJ, obviously had dealt with promoters. I knew how to negotiate for myself and for the crew, and that kind of helped me step up to the next level, where I was booking nights and reaching out to agents and trying to book other DJs internationally. And yeah, man, it just grew from there. I mean, it's been 20 years and now it's just, it's crazy that we've lasted this long. And it was mainly just about us having a place to play and basically having a place for drum and bass and the people that we knew that loved the music and giving them a place to go to.
What were some of your challenges that you guys as a crew faced in the beginning, trying to just get this event to be successful?
I mean, like I said, you just figuring it out as you go. I mean, there wasn't even really social media then,
Yeah,
so
right,
it was like,
right.
So it's like we couldn't promote on Facebook. It was just mainly kind of that old school mentality of you got to have the flyers in the streets, you got to have flyers in the record stores and in the shops, which as well as I do. I mean, it's a hustle. You got to be out there and get yourself seen and make sure you're out there at the end of the night and just hustle it, but I think because we were tapping into something that there was a need for it at the time. So it's just people gravitated to that quickly. And we're really surprised at how quickly, the night like blew up and just, was popular within our crowd. And then it just kind of grew from there. But other than that, it's just basically logistical things, you figure out how to book, hotels and
Right.
flights and scheduling and making sure, because we have at the time there was 4 of us in the crew. The original Junglist Platoon residents were myself, Machete, No Face, Clutch, and Scuba. And, Oscar was on rotation. We started the club. It was basically us paying homage to all the DJs that we respected, like Oscar, RAW, Deacon, Curious, Assassin, who was also kind of like, putting out some of the early drum and bass releases on other labels besides Domestic. He was getting some international acclaim. And then it just grew from there to the point where we started booking more international acts. But it just kind of rolled along and built quite a following early on. So within a couple of years, we were definitely already pretty well known for having the go-to drum and bass event in LA.
Yeah, because at this point, your club, Respect, is really it's to the point where it's known worldwide by a lot of not just DJs, but just people know about Respect. Like if you come to LA, you come to Hollywood, and you want to listen to drum and bass, the place to go is Respect.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even outside of our scene, which is interesting, like the venue that we're in currently, it's run by an old school house promoter named Danny B.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you know him or not.
Yeah, I do.
But he had been following us for years. It's like it's interesting to see people and realize that they're people on the outside looking in or paying attention to what you do. So it's kind of crazy that he's like, okay, we'd really like to get you guys in here. We've seen what you do with the flyers. Right. Your flyer designs are always sick. Your promotions are on point.
Right.
But like I was saying earlier, it's a very small scene compared to say dubstep or other types of electronic music out there. But it is very global. People from around the world, we get messages all the time on Facebook, people saying hey, I'm traveling from, Germany, or I'm traveling from, such and such place. And we want to know who's playing, because we want to come to Respect, because that's the go-to spot. And then other DJs who hit us up, to play, they let us know about their tours, or they're like, I'm coming to LA. I'd really love to play the club. For them, it's like a bucket list thing. That's like they want to check that box.
Right.
It's great. It's crazy to think about, but it's cool.
That's so cool, dude. What artists do you think blew you away when you booked them? Of all, because today it's weird because your website, I was checking out your website. It's unbelievable. It looks so badass. So, but now I see so many artists that are just international artists that I'm blown away by. I'm like, holy shit! You got Ronnie coming and playing. Like, holy fuck! It's like some of these artists that we all, even my brother looked up to. We all looked up to. Especially my brother. Back in the day when you all were first getting into drum and bass. Some of these people that we were like, wow, these guys are the shit. And then now you're bringing these artists to your club. I mean, how's that feel, dude? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel crazy. Just to know that, like, and people, artists like these, they want to play respect because they know, like, we've created this energy and this vibe and this unmatchable kind of vibe for everyone who loves this type of music to go to. And like when people like Ronnie Size, or DJ Hype, who is actually one of my artists on my agency as well. So it's like, it's crazy, like I've been an agent, representing international drum and bass artists now for almost 8 years. And like, I've booked shows for Goldie, DJ Hype, a lot of the legends of the scene. And the fact that like they're playing my shows or I'm representing them as an artist after, from where we began to where we are now, it's nuts. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's really awesome, dude. But before you even got into the promoting aspect of it, because now you're doing Respect every Thursday. You're doing your own agency where you're booking all these international artists. But before you got into those two areas, you started as a DJ, correct?
Yep.
And how was that path?
As a DJ,
who inspired you? How did you get into that whole aspect? I know it was like my brother had a part in it, REW.
Yeah, definitely.
90? The 90, 91, somewhere around there?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously I was always a music fan, growing up, even like a young kid, a young skater. My first musical love was really hip hop.
Yeah, same here.
So I loved hip hop, and I mean, when I started DJing in like 90, 91, you knew me as Rob G because I was DJing some of the early undergrounds back then, like at Coconut Teaser, No Doze, What. Some of my first bookings were with people that we all knew and were close to in the underground LA scene back then, and they just gave me a chance to shine, which was cool. But yeah, like your brother Oscar, I mean, his turntables were the first decks that I ever touched.
Wow.
I came over to your house and Oscar's house in Carson, with your mom making us food and playing with your dogs, and and I was like DJing on Oscar's decks and just kind of like basically like figuring like how to mix and scratch and like I felt like I kind of picked it up quickly, and I was like, okay, maybe there's something here, something that I can do, because I always loved it and I was always about like hip hop. So the first few years I was DJing strictly hip hop, but at the same time I was going to LA Underground, so it was like it was still the sound of the music that I was hearing that was really kind of pushing me in that direction. And Oscar was already early, into like techno and everything, and then jungle. So it was just like, I started buying more drum and bass and jungle records, and I still DJ hip hop, but that eventually became my primary like passion, and then from there just kind of grew. And I think I was DJing for a few years, but it wasn't until about 94 when I first put out my first jungle mixtape called Respect.
Nice.
And that's basically where the name of the club came from. It was like a mixtape that I made in 1994, borrowing some of your brother's jungle records, and just made a mix.
Right.
And Sean Snow Rock from CBS, he made some of the original art on the cover. Scuba, I think, kind of did some original artwork, and I didn't even put my name on it at the time. I don't even think I had started using Machete as a DJ name yet. It was just more about the music, and I wanted to give respect to the music that I was like hearing and loving. So I just called the mixtape Respect, and then from there, that name just kind of snowballed into like another mix,
Right.
and then another, and then the club, and now the agency as well is called Respect Artists Agency. So it's just been building that brand since 1994, even before it was a club. But it was probably closer to 1996, 97 when I started playing out drum and bass more regularly, and then from there it just kind of took off. And then 3 years later, we started the club.
That's dope, dude. How many people know that story? That I didn't even know that Respect came from that track that you made in '94. It didn't even have your name. It just said Respect.
Yeah, I still have those tapes. I still have the tapes. And if anyone wants to check out the mix, it's available on my website at djmachete.com. I have all my old mixtapes available for digital download. You can see the cassettes, you know, back when you had the mixtapes, the artwork that we had, and there's a digital file that people can listen to if they want to check it out. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people know that story.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I didn't know that, and the way you said it was like pretty dope. It was like you called it Respect for the respect of the music of that genre, and it kind of fits perfect the way it is now because you know the club is Club Respect. Why is it Respect? Because you're respecting the genre of drum and bass.
Absolutely.
That's really fucking powerful, dude. It's really damn. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's fucking dope. Now, as far I know you're still DJing today, right? So where, besides LA, what are some of the places that you DJ, whether it's out of state or maybe out of the country, that kind of blew you away? Like, wow, I'm actually DJing here. Like, holy crap. You know, I just DJed. I'm from Hawthorne. I DJed in the South Bay. And then suddenly I went from South Bay to LA. Now I'm DJing in these areas. Like, what the fuck? Like, what blew you away?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, some of my first travel gigs were within the U.S.
Right.
You know, I've been everywhere from like, you know, New York and Washington D.C., Florida, parts of the Midwest, up and down the West Coast, Denver. I've played in Canada, like in Vancouver, and I've definitely played overseas. I've done shows in Croatia, and in I think one that really stands out for me was the first time I visited Costa Rica in Central America, and I reached out because, you know, as we were discussing, there's a small community of drum and bass promoters and DJs. So, you know, when you travel or you see who's doing shows in each city, like it's pretty easy to find out like what's going on. So I knew I was going to go to Costa Rica for a vacation. So I reached out to the local crew. Shouts out to the CR Junglist movement out there. And they put together a show for me. And the first venue that they had booked, they had such a good response that they had to move the venues. I ended up playing in another, like a bigger venue. It was a bar, but it was a bigger spot. And there must have been like 200 or 300 people there all to hear me. And I was just like blown away. I was like, wow. So I'm here in like Central America and Costa Rica. You know, it's hot, it's sticky, but it's vibing. And, you know, people are like hearing drum and bass because they don't really get to hear, you know, international acts come from out of town too often. And of course, because my name's Machete. So like, Machete. Yeah, they're like all about it. And so that was really cool. It was a really great vibe. And I had my girlfriend there and one of our good friends. So that was really cool. You know, I played in Hawaii with RAW years ago. That was probably one of my first really memorable travel gigs as well, because obviously Hawaii is a destination and really a beautiful place to be.
Wow, dude, that's fucking dope, dude. Dude, now do you have a bucket list, bro? Like a bucket list of, that's a two-part question. A bucket list of an artist that you have not brought to Respect that you want to bring to Respect, and a place that you would love to play, that where there's a drum and bass scene somewhere in the world.
I mean, to be honest, at this point, we've pretty much had just about every big drum and bass guy play for Respect at some point or another, whether it was just like a Respect show by itself, or if we did like a collaborative event with Insomniac, who we do work with from time to time on their Bass Rush events. I mean, we've brought some of the biggest acts in the world. So to be honest. Yeah, there's not too many I could think of in regards to places to play. Surprisingly, I still haven't played in London, which was the home of drum and bass, basically. I did take a trip to London back in 96, 97. I went there with Scuba,
Right.
some of the other guys in the crew, Junglist Platoon at the time. And that was basically the inspiration to start the club. Like, we went to London to bring in the new year, 1997. I mean, I'm sure you'll remember that was the year of the big riot at the New Year's show in LA.
Oh,
so we were overseas, partying at World Dance in London at Wembley Arena. And we went to the Metalheads night. We went to, the World Dance for New Year's. We hit up, we also went to Amsterdam, did some record shopping, but we just came back really inspired to do our own thing out here, and kind of like saw a vision for how to do it the right way. We knew there was a need for that. We wanted to fill that void in Los Angeles and bring drum and bass properly. But yeah, so London would definitely be on my bucket list of places to play, which, I'm pretty sure if I go back, it could happen. I've made so many contacts over the years that if I tell them I'm coming to England, I could easily pick up a few gigs. It's just a matter of making that happen. But the last few years have just been really busy. Financially, I've had my money tied up in different investments. We've also, invested in a club venue. And obviously I started the agency last year. So just, there's been a lot on my plate. So I haven't really been able to focus on the international travel gigs, but hopefully that'll happen soon.
And are you doing this now full time?
Yeah. I mean, I've basically been.
Congratulations! I know it's been years. That's dope, dude. Dope.
Yeah, man. I mean, thank you. I'm definitely. I don't really say this or use this term too often, but I'm definitely blessed to have been doing drum and bass full time since 2012.
That's awesome, dude.
So basically, there was a few years, I think, in the early 2000s when DJing was really doing well for me. I mean,
right.
There was a time when there was only maybe a handful of guys playing jungle drum and bass in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So, and that was when the scene was really building. There was a lot of mid-level raves, going on in like Pomona and Riverside, and also in LA, places like the Casa and LA underground venues. So, there was a few years when I was playing 2 or 3 gigs a weekend, sometimes in one night, 2 or 3 gigs, going between like the Casa to, the Glass House to, hitting Riverside or hitting, going Riverside first and then hitting them all on the way back to LA.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't have to hold down a job. I was getting paid really well, but, I wasn't a prolific producer of music. And eventually the way the scene kind of moved and evolved, like there was a lot of new kids coming in, getting interested, kind of undercutting the DJs who were established because they'd play for super cheap.
Right. As what occurs all the time. Right.
Yeah. So, I had to get a full-time job again, but I was still DJing and still doing the club.
Right.
But yeah, in 2012, when I started working as an agent at Circle Talent Agency, I basically started doing music full time. So it was just, I was doing the club, booking drum and bass as a full time job, working for an agency, and DJing myself. So yeah, the last 7 years have been really good, and really happy to be able to do that full time.
Now you have your own agency, correct?
And now I have my own agency.
And how long have you had your own agency?
We started it last year, around April or May of last year. And then it really started to pick up steam between July and September once we finally got our website uploaded. But I'd already basically brought all the artists that I represented at the other agency to my agency.
Right.
And they're all very bookable international acts. I have a great relationship with Insomniac. So a lot of my guys play their festivals. And then, the club scene in USA is very consistent, so, I mean, I know where I can book my guys in just about every city and every state in North America.
Nice. That's awesome, dude. That's
between USA and Canada. Yeah, it keeps me pretty busy.
That's fucking awesome, dude. You've managed to pave your own way. It was really cool. It's really awesome to see your journey, dude. Because I was there in the beginning when you started to DJ.
Yeah.
I remember my mom making us burritos.
Yeah.
Being in the white room, Oscar's white room, and everyone's learning to play.
Or arroz con leche.
Right, arroz con leche. Yeah, exactly. We're all eating. It's like we're there all day, 8 hours. We don't leave the room. We just leave to use the restroom, and then Mom brings everyone food.
And obviously Oscar was producing at the time. He was doing like the N2O N2O sample records, which I kind of helped him with like one or two of those. And then obviously we would have meetings. I remember you would hold meetings for the shows that you were promoting, and I played a lot of those shows at your house. And I spent a lot of time in Carson.
Yeah, dude. Oh man. Dude.
Which reminds me, I need to get you a T-shirt. I don't know if you saw our Respect T-shirt that basically gave props to all the South Bay cities, and I included Carson on there.
Really? I haven't seen it.
Oh man, I got to hook you up. Actually, I'll show it to you later. Okay. But yeah, it's basically like a list of all the cities, like basically because our crew, the original crew, all got their start in the South Bay.
Right.
So it's like between Hawthorne, Carson, Torrance, Gardena, like Wilmington, which I know you still have family that live in Wilmington, and then Los Angeles. I basically listed all those cities on a T-shirt, but connected them in such a way that I highlighted the word respect vertically.
Oh, that's dope.
So all the city names are stacked on top of each other, and on the back it says respect South Bay.
Wow, that's
I got to get you one of those.
Holy shit, that's fucking sick! Wow.
I actually sent one to Oscar. He could show you too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have lunch with Joey, me, Oscar, and Joey sometime next week.
Yeah.
We found out Joey had a baby. We're like, "What? You have a baby?"
Oh yeah, Joey. What? Nice one. Everyone's having babies now.
I know, man. I'm up to bat next.
I know, me too, man. Trust the pressure is on.
The pressure is on. That's awesome, dude. But dude, I don't think I've said this to you, dude, but I'm really fucking impressed. You inspire me with your journey, dude. It really is.
Thanks, brother.
To see the beginning, and it's really different when you have other people that already know you. Like, oh, that's fucking Machete. Oh, that's called respect. I knew you when you were Rob G. And I know my brother definitely feels the same, where now we were there, and to see your path from a DJ to a club promoter to now you're running your own agency, you have your own club, and now you're doing this full time. That is fucking amazing, dude. That's impressive, dude. My hat's off to you, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And
I appreciate it.
It's amazing, dude. And dude, what kind of advice can you give to people out there that want to follow your same path in a different genre, or maybe they want to DJ? I know DJ's a little tough now because you have so many people that are trying to do it. As a DJ, what kind of advice can you give other people that are trying to get into the DJ scene?
I would say just follow your heart, and just play the music that you want to play. I mean, some people just play music that other people want to play, which is great, because that's definitely a part of the magic that we're creating. But for me, that's why I switched to drum and bass, because it was the underdog. It wasn't as well known, but it was just like between the bass lines and the samples that were coming from like reggae and hip hop, it all kind of drew me in and kind of pushed me in that direction. And I would say just really play what you love. Nowadays, I mean, there's so many ways that you can DJ, whether it's digitally or vinyl, even though vinyl's not as popular. But I really have to stress that I think people should learn to play records on turntables, build your foundation, build your skill level from that point. And from there, it might not be conducive to, quick, like the learning curve and moving forward quickly, because there's so many ways that you can just like sync your mixes and press buttons and just make it easy. But, we didn't have that easy path, and I don't want to be that old guy that's like, oh, you got to do it this way. But I think there's there's a skill level and a comfort level to knowing how to throw down a vinyl set that will carry over into how you play on any other medium. So I think that's definitely key there. And just get your mixes, whether it's a physical mix. Most people just create a link, whether it's on Mixcloud or SoundCloud.
Right.
Just send them out to people and see what they say. If you can get their advice, like I think nowadays there's some people that almost like expect that you're supposed to know who they are, but they don't put in the work to actually like reach out to you and be like, hey, I really respect what you're doing, respect, and go, try to get some advice and some feedback, and I feel like there's so many people out there that probably need a shot and that are deserving of it, that just, are either afraid to reach out or just, or maybe like too in their own head about their skill level. But you'll never know until you reach out to someone who's actually been around and can say like, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to fix, or just, just keep going. And also helps to have a good like circle of friends around you who are supportive, but who also let you know straight up, like, that's whack, like try it this way or do that. Cause that's what our crew was, I think, in the beginning, between, yourself and Oscar, and the guys that are, within our crew.
The whole crew. Yeah. Right. That's true.
So it's good to have that motivation and positive people behind you. And if you don't have any positive people in your life, maybe you're hanging out with the wrong people.
Right. Well said, dude. Well fucking said, dude. And as a promoter, bro, I mean, what kind of advice would you give somebody that wants to do their own club, or and wants to be successful, whether it's in a different genre, or what kind of advice can you give them? I know a lot of it's the grind, but 20 years ago it was different because you did it the old school way, which was flyers. Now there's been a big change where now you have social media now. What kind of advice can you give people that are trying to do their own event?
It definitely is a grind nowadays, and there's so many people trying to do shows.
Right.
For us, we were filling a niche that, there was a need for what we were doing, and nowadays, I mean, there's multiple promoters in LA doing drum and bass.
Right.
So if you can, maybe try to get involved with them, but there's something to be said for starting something original. And I think there's a lot of people that kind of latch on to other people's stuff too closely, and rely on that, or maybe even copy things that had been established previously. So, just stay true to yourself, and just grind it. Like you said, you gotta promote it any way you can, like whether it's, through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, which is very big for us now. I think we have probably one of the strongest drum and bass Instagram accounts in America. And that definitely helps. Just keep up with your social media. I mean, this is all stuff that's evolved over time, and I had to figure it out, as I went. But and just try to build, and get you can't do everything by yourself. And I realize that, as a control freak as I am, and want to make sure things are done a certain way, there's still something to be said for having like a crew that you can rely on, and at least a small group of friends that can help push what you're trying to do, because that's where it's going to build. Just like any DJ, like if you're a local DJ and you're trying to get out there, most promoters aren't going to really look at you unless you're really sick and it's evident in your mixes, or they may have seen you play somewhere, or you have a strong following of your friends that will come out and support your show. So if you're playing, 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, the first set of the night, and you have like 20 or 30 friends that are going to come out and support you, like that's important. So like, just make sure that you try to stay positive and stay true to your vibe, your style, and keep your friends involved, and hopefully, it'll grow from there. It really is tough, because you never know how things are going to go in what direction. But now, you just gotta believe in yourself, really.
Let's go, dude. Yeah, great advice, man. Great fucking advice. And dude, another question I have is, I think this is really an important question. What do you think attributed to your success?
my stubbornness,
Stubbornness. Okay.
not,
Yeah.
not wanting to give up. You know, I mean, there was plenty of times
Right.
in the history of respect where I was losing money.
Yeah.
You know, there was, you know, weeks in a row where, you know, I'd have to borrow money from other friends.
Right.
You know, we basically, like my buddy Justin, who helped start the club with us back in the day, you know, he would always tell people, yeah, we started Respect with $200 in a dream. Because that was basically.
I love that. That's a great quote. We started Respect with $200 in a dream.
You know, because like that we basically had to, like, you know, make sure we could promote. Like I learned Photoshop to do the first black and white flyer myself.
Right.
And so it's like, you know, like I said, we got to figure things out. You know, I think our first bar guarantee was $200. So that we were basically risking $200. You know, I think the first month, pretty much all the DJs were just down to play to see how it went. These were all our friends, so nobody was stressing about money. And it was on a Tuesday when we started. We moved Thursdays a year later. But yeah, it was just like, you know, I think just persistence and being willing to adapt, like when Facebook first started blowing up,
right?
You know, and using that as a tool. Just use the tools that are provided to you, and if you can try to be ahead of the trends and figure out, okay, well, this is going to be the next thing, I can help promote myself or my night or my crew or whatever it is. You know, just try to stay on top of it and be passionate about it, and just, you know, just be about it, really, because that's the only way you're going to move forward. Like, if you're not about it and you're just kind of like, oh, I just want to be like the popular DJ because it's like the thing right now, like you're gonna fall off, and nobody's gonna really care what you're doing anyway.
Right. Dude, who the fuck, how the fuck do you have this drive? Like, where did you get this drive? Because you have this drive. Is it connected to your stubbornness, or because it seems like you're really driven in being successful in what you've accomplished over the years?
I mean, it's hard to pinpoint it. I've always been, you know, a huge music fan. I've always been a very kind of do-it-yourself kind of guy in regards to things that I'm passionate about. You know, I'm not like a skilled worker where I could build things with my hands, but you know, I'm a motivator, like a kind of more of like a quiet motivator. Because I mean, you know me early on, I wasn't always the most talkative guy early on.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like my personality came out through the music. So through DJing and through promoting, I kind of figured out who I was, and I just realized there was a fire there that was just growing, and I just found ways to build that fire and until it was just an inferno.
I love that, dude. That's awesome, dude. Bro, I have an idea for you, dude. One day you should write a book. Call it Respect, and under the word respect, we started it with $200 at a dream. I would buy that book, dude.
We should, man. We've definitely talked about doing like a kind of like a coffee table book or something. I mean, obviously with 20 years history, there's a lot there. There's a lot of photos and cool anecdotes and little stories and side stories and things that have happened over the years. So I think it would be an interesting, or even like a, you know, like a little mini documentary or something like that as well.
Yeah, dude.
$200 in a dream.
That's a great title, bro. Dude, 20 fucking years, dude. It's fucking unheard of these days, man. It's impressive. Not even the person, JC, was an old school promoter back in the days when I was in high school. I don't even think he pulled 20 years. I think he pulled like maybe 17 or 18. So anything above 20 years is fucking impressive, man.
Yeah, we're old men.
So yeah, we're old. Yeah.
But the music's keeping us young and keeping us involved, and you're still finding ways to stay motivated, and I just love what I do, really. So, you know, I don't think you know, we'll be stopping anytime soon.
That's dope, dude. And I know all this didn't weigh on your shoulders alone. I mean, it was definitely a collective effort with other people. I mean, who are the other people that were really instrumental in and getting respect to be so successful in the last 20 years?
Well, I'd say definitely in the early days, it was definitely more of a group effort with the crew that started it, with our crew, the guys that I named earlier, Clutch, Scuba, No Face.
Right.
I mean, we've since added more guys in our crew.
Cool.
Arco, who's based in San Diego. We have a resident MC, Dre, right now. And Drone, who's also South Bay resident. And, and Justin, who was definitely important into starting the club in the early days. I got to give shouts to my boy Sense, Paul Boutine. We've all kind of figured out where our responsibilities lie, but obviously we're all adults now as well, so everyone's priorities have changed over the years.
Right.
People have gotten married, had kids, maybe started other jobs. So, I mean, I'd say probably in the last 8 or 9 years, maybe, closer to 10 years, I've taken on the brunt of the responsibilities.
Right.
But it definitely couldn't have done it without the crew, and, kicked off in the early days. And, it is a collective effort. Our residents are on rotation, so we all play once a month. We just did a crew night last week. We did a Junglist Platoon takeover.
Nice.
Junglist Platoon.
Nice.
And then Respect, keeping it going, man. I mean, that's one of the other things I think that helps our brand. We still support the locals, and we still support the international acts. It has to be a balance of both, between stateside, international, local artists, and just kind of recognizing where you have to make adjustments in your promotional tactics, and also figuring out, I mean, now that I'm an agent, I'm well versed in how to string together a tour. So that benefits me as a DJ as well, because I can do that for myself or my crew, as well as having just a long list of promoters across North America that I can reach out to. So it all kind of feeds into the same fire, the same animal. It's just one of those things, and I'm just glad that we're still here doing it after all these years.
That's fucking amazing, bro. It's fucking amazing. And you don't know this, but you're also well known outside of your own genre. I have a friend of mine who is a very well known, respectable, and respectable from all over the U.S. in salsa music.
Oh yeah,
he does big shows in Orange County. He does salsa congresses, and he gets artists from New York, from all over the world to come. And he has dance performers. He has a huge name in LA, and he used to go to all the events back in the day when we were a kid.
Oh yeah,
and he knows about Respect. He's like, dude, I saw that bandana you had at EDC, man. Can you give me a Respect hat? I used to go to Respect all the time. I'm like, what? You used to go to Respect? What are you talking about? And he's a salsa DJ. He has a big name for himself, but he used to go to Respect all the time. And he has good things to say about Respect. So
that's awesome, man. That's great to hear. I mean, it's funny because it still does happen to me quite a lot too. I mean, case in point, last weekend I went to a B-Boy B-Girl Summit, which has been going on for 25 years, and just paying homage to all the dancers and breakers and hip hoppers. And there was at least 2 people there. They're like, oh, Machete, Respect. Right. It's like, it seems like wherever I go, the most random places, it could be like the county fair or Universal Studios. And, they'll either recognize me or they'll see like my Respect shirt or my Respect hat and be like, yeah, Respect, I've been there before. Or like, it's just crazy.
That's so dope, dude.
So yeah, it's cool, man. About to blow up in the salsa scene.
My friend's gonna watch this. He's gonna be like, "Dude, do you talk to him about getting your? I'll get you a hat. Relax, I got you." Dude,
yeah, man. I'll send you a package. I got to get you that South Bay shirt, and
dude, is it on your website?
I'll send you a couple things. Yeah, it's on my website.
Okay, cool. Dude, so
actually, I could show you right now. Hold on, one sec.
Oh, dude, I want to see it. I definitely want to see it, man. Oh, you have the shirt. Oh, awesome. Oh shit! Wow, that is dope. Hawthorne, LA, Carson, San Pedro, Gardena. Wow, Dude, that is badass. Respect, drum and bass, South Bay. Wow, dude, that's fucking sick.
Respect in the South Bay, boy.
Woo, that is sick. That's fucking fire right there. Wow, dude, that's fucking dope, dude.
And that was super limited edition. But it was just about where we grew up. It's like all our friends and the crew, at least like from the early days. It's like, I mean, Raul, you and Oscar, Carson, Wilmington. I was born in Torrance, Snowski Rock, Gardena, and obviously Los Angeles is on there because that represents the broader spectrum. But Hawthorne is where we grew up, so that was on top.
Yeah, that's dope. Fucking dope. I love that shirt, dude. Wow. Dude, fucking. So what's next for you, bro? What's your main focus now? It seems like, is it the agency because it's something that's fairly new? Is that where you're?
Yeah, definitely. That's been the main focus. Just kind of growing the agency. Right now, it's pretty much just myself and my girlfriend, who's my partner. Cool. But we've also invested in a venue, so we're partners. We're technically club owners now, so that's like the next level, and trying to kind of build that up and just really push and I mean, we're getting older, like we're talking about earlier, man. I mean, I think family's around the corner,
right?
Just trying to be adults, but still stay true to our roots and keep doing this drum and bass thing that we love and stay involved in music, because that's really what drives me the most.
That's fucking awesome, dude. That's great. So, but dude,
I'm still DJing. I'm still traveling. I have a lot of gigs. I just played in Utah recently.
Nice.
Next week is my birthday. I have like 3 events lined up. I'm playing at Respect on Thursday. I'm playing at Accelerated with Ray Keith, who's also an old school jungle guy, on Friday. And then I'm traveling to High Bridge, Wisconsin, doing like this Midwest festival called Even Further. That one's been going for like over 20 years, so it's pretty well known as well.
Dope, dude.
If you check out my summer dates, if you check out my Instagram, I posted all my dates. People can go there. Pretty much all of my socials are DJ Machete across the board, including my website.
Yeah.
And they could also check out the agency, respectartistagency.com, or go to respectdrumandbass.com for all our club stuff. And
what's your Instagram? Did you say it?
Yeah, DJ Machete Instagram. Yeah, everything I have for Instagram for DJ Machete is DJ Machete. Whether it's SoundCloud, Twitter, Facebook, it's all just DJ Machete across the board.
So, and your birthday's next week.
Yeah, man. So August 9th.
August 9th. What day?
Yeah.
What does that land on?
That lands on a Friday. So technically, after midnight at Respect, it'll be my birthday.
Okay. Dude. Yeah. So I got to talk to Oscar, dude. Maybe we can go have lunch with Joey over there by the club, and then we'll go to Respect afterward. I'm going to hit Oscar.
You should come out. We got RAW headlining that when I brought him in to play on my birthday. So.
Okay, dope. Yeah. I'm going to tell.
It'll be a little homie family reunion.
Dude, that'd be a family reunion. I'm going to hit him up because Oscar said, yeah, dude, I was thinking about getting Joey, having some lunch with Joey. Oscar's on vacation right now.
Yeah.
So I'll hit him.
We might even do like an earlier kind of happy hour thing right before the club and at the venue. So, well, we should definitely link up.
Definitely, dude.
And I'll bring you a shirt and a hat.
Okay. Dope, dude. Dope. Dude, well, I just want to conclude it with, bro, it's been an inspiration to see your path from the beginning to where it's at now. You've inspired a lot of people. You've motivated and changed people's lives with your club, with everything, because your event is known worldwide, and it's just you're a testament of what happens when someone just has drive and hard work, and you surround yourself with people that are positive, dude. So,
thanks, man.
Again, dude, I'm impressed. You inspired me, brother, from from what you have accomplished over the years. So,
well, I can say the same about you, man. I mean, your early hustle from the time I met you and found out that you were Oscar's brother, and you're standing outside of all the early raves with your big boy outfit and just passing out flyers. I mean, you definitely set the path. You definitely were set a good example yourself. So, hats off to you, my friend.
Hey, hats off to you, brother. And I just want to end it with respect, brother.
Respect,
brother.
Big up, Tiny.
Cool. Big up, brother. Thanks for being on the show, brother. And then I'll talk to my brother to see if we could come out next Thursday, dude. Well,
OG Oscar the Grouch, yeah.
Big
All right,
up,
Tanya.
my brother, OG. All right, brother.